It's a me, Mario.
Who?
Mario, man, the legendary Nintendo character that got his own video games and a live action movie at one point. Seriously?
Oh, I get it.
Yeah?
You're Sonic the Hedgehog.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Jason, and I am reviewing the Super Mario Brothers movie made by Nintendo and Illumination. I'm not gonna do the whole voice because it's gonna get annoying throughout the whole video. Hey guys, it's Jason. This is my review for the Super Mario Brothers movie, directed by 4 people that are mostly known for doing Teen Titans Go, and one of them being the director of Teen Titans Go to the movies. And this movie is about a plumber named Mario who gets sucked down into a pipe with his brother Luigi into the Mushroom Kingdom, where he encounters Princess Peach, a few of the Mushroom Toads, as well as Bowser, who comes to take over the Mushroom Kingdom, and Mario has to be the one to stop him. This is Nintendo's third attempt at making a Mario film after the live-action film from the 90s, and that one didn't do very well as the anime Mario film from the 80s, which not a lot of people knew about when it was released. I mean, maybe they did when it first came out in Japan, but nowadays people don't really know that an anime Mario movie got made back then. Now, my history with the Mario games is very limited. I haven't played all of the games, and that's mostly because I'm more of a casual fan of the Mario games. I played a little bit of the NES game as well as a little bit of the Nintendo 64 game and having a lot of fun with, as well as watching my cousin play Luigi's Mansion when I was little. Now, with the other games, I haven't played some of the popular ones. I haven't played Super Mario Galaxy or 3D World or any of the Mario Kart games, and haven't even played Super Mario Odyssey. I've heard the song Jump Up Superstar, but I've never played the game itself. And I haven't played those games because I was more of an Xbox and PlayStation kid back then. I've never gotten any other Nintendo games besides the Nintendo Switch and the Wii, but not the GameCube or the Nintendo Switch. But I was still able to get my knowledge on the Mario characters and the Mario games from watching an episode of X-Play when I was little. And in case you don't know what X-Play is, that is a TV series that would review video games on G4. And in 2007, they released an episode where they reviewed all the previous Mario games before getting to Super Mario Galaxy, which was the newest Mario game at that time. And I was still curious about wanting to watch this film regardless of how many Mario games I've played, and not knowing everything about the Mario lore. I was still curious about wanting to watch this film, especially when hearing about the certain casting choices they went with for the characters like Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, Jack Black, and Chris Pratt, which I'll talk more about him later. And now that I've seen this film, does this movie live up to people's expectations? And the answer is well, I mean, it's decent. It's enjoyable. Now, I still enjoyed it. I still had a fun time watching it. But it does have a few flaws in regards to its story. This is actually the same reaction I had when I first watched the live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movie from 2020. A movie I thought was fun and enjoyable, not great. It's not an amazing film, but it's still enjoyable, and that's how I feel about this movie. It's just enjoyable. So let me talk about the positives first. First off, the animation here is definitely a highlight. It's very colorful and very vibrant, and the character models are very accurate to the characters from the video games. It's also very detailed with some of the clothing and the hair the characters have. If there's one thing in this film that I absolutely loved, that would be the animation for sure. This also has some fan service for sure, and there's a lot of it. And recently, that has become an issue with most films that have a lot of fan service, and people are not very fond of seeing that because they would want more of a story and less fan service. While I do understand that statement, and some of that is seen here, but I'm also a fan of some of these games, so I'm fine with that, as long as it's good for the story. Now, I wasn't able to get all of the references from the games because, again, I haven't played all of the games, but I was able to catch some of them, and since I just mentioned I used to watch my cousin play Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube, there was at one point where you hear the GameCube theme, which that was very nostalgic for me to hear, and of course get to hear the iconic Super Mario Bros. Theme song. This movie also has some pretty fun action sequences, like that one scene where Mario is fighting Donkey Kong, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you already seen in the trailers, as well as a Rainbow Bridge race that happens, which was also very fun to see. And I thought the third act, while it was pretty crazy, but it was still a lot of fun to see as well. The voice acting for the most part was also really good. For me, the ones that stood out are Jack Black as Bowser, Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach, and Charlie Day as Luigi. I also like Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. I thought he was very fun in the movie, and I thought his voice worked for the character, and of course, in case if you're wondering, he does do the very famous Seth Rogen laugh at one point. Now let's talk about Chris Pratt as Mario. When I first found out that he was cast as Mario, just like a lot of people, I was like, what, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't fit the Mario character. But I still wanted to give him a chance because I am a fan of Chris Pratt as an actor, not just as Star-Lord from the Guardians of the Galaxy films, but I also liked him in films like the Magnificent Seven remake, Parks and Recreation as well, and he's good as Emhead from the Lego Movie. And now that I've seen this film, I can now say that he's fine. He's not great, but he's fine. There were times when his voice can go off into his normal voice and then back to his own Mario voice, but overall, his performance was fine. It's definitely better than what most of us thought it was gonna be. And what I did in the beginning of the video is supposed to prove that, because that's the kind of performance we thought that he was gonna have when he was cast as Mario. I liked Peach in the film, and she's not a damsel in distress like she is in the games. She actually wants to go out and fight Bowser and protect her kingdom, and she will do what she can to keep her kingdom safe. And that's most of the positives I can take from this film, like the animation, the action sequences, the voice acting, and the fan service do make this film fun to watch. But this movie still has some issues, which I'm gonna get into right now, starting with the story. Now, the story doesn't really do anything different for the characters. It's really just a basic story that we've seen a lot of times in other movies. It's just the normal fish out of water story where a main character is trying to be a hero and a lot of people see him as an outcast and he has to protect the world that he's not familiar with. And we've seen that story done so many times in other movies. I mean, you could argue that that's kind of the basic part in the games, and you'd be right, some of the games have that, but I would have liked something different for the story in this movie instead of just the usual story that we've seen in the past. The first half of the film, while fun, but it does drag in a few scenes, mostly because of the story just being basic, and it doesn't really pick up the pace until the second half. Now, the second half, that's when the movie finally picks up its pace after it gets to a Rainbow Bridge chase. That's when the movie finally gets interesting. There were also some strange song choices that really didn't need to be in the movie, like I Need a Hero by Bonnie Tyler and No Sleep Till Brooklyn by the Beastie Boys. I mean, they're fun songs for sure, but they really don't fit in a movie like this. They really didn't need to put those songs in the movie. Like, I'm kind of fine with the Peaches song that Bowser sings, which is a very popular thing nowadays. But with the other songs I just mentioned, no, they really don't fit in a Mario movie. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is not an amazing film. It does have some issues with the story being basic and some song choices that really didn't need to be there, and sometimes Chris Pratt's voice as Mario can go off and on. fun, but it has really good animation, mostly good voice acting, really fun action sequences, and good fan service, and it pays respect to the fans of the games pretty well. If you love the Mario games and don't mind the basic story that this movie's going for, then you might love it more than me. But I also recommend this film mostly to two different kinds of people: Super Mario fans and kids, because this movie is basically geared towards that demographic. And it also kind of opens the door for Nintendo to make more movies based off of their popular video games like Zelda or Star Fox or Metroid or Metal Gear Solid. I am hoping that we do get movies based off of those in the future. I am actually curious to see how they would do a Zelda movie. Like, imagine how that'll look. I'm gonna give the Super Mario Bros. Movie a B. So guys, if you have seen the Super Mario Bros. Movie, what did you think about it? Did you think it was an amazing movie, or did you think this was terrible and maybe worse than the 90s film? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this review, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, because it makes my channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you know what other films I'm reviewing. Follow me on Facebook. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one, and wahoo!